Whoa, let's see. Okay, we're going to try this again, guys. I had to take down the other video because I came in upside down. This is crazy. Hopefully, I can get through this because the adversary is just busy, guys. He don't want me to do this video, and I'm trying. Lord knows I am. All right, so let's see. Let's see if this can go here. All right, here we go. So don't mind me, please, because I'm trying to get used to um, just recording my visuals because usually, and I'm trying to not like look into the camera. I'm trying to set this up a certain way. So just bear with me. Listen, this is just crazy because I feel like I'm looking, I almost don't want this webcam on because I'm looking kind of crazy. Do I look at the thing or is the camera here? Okay, maybe the camera is there. Ooh, bear with me, technology. Technology. Look, guys, I'm just trying to do my mission work, trying to help folks out here. And where did it go? Wait a minute. All right, here we go. Now it doesn't seem like it's light enough. Maybe it should go there. Maybe it should go there. Bear with me, guys, because I'm trying to get my camera right. And you don't know until you try it, right? Until you try it and it's light enough. So I'm still trying to test it out as I go live, and I'm sorry, but I can only do this. Let's see about this light. Trying to get the lighting right. Uh-oh. I ain't mad about that either. Let's see. Blue light. Maybe blue. Blue or green. Maybe green. Let's go back to blue or purple. I think I like purple. All right, guys. Ah! Listen. Do I even need this? Let's see. I don't know that I need that light either. We getting there. We are getting there. I wonder if it's better up like that or like that. All right, guys, I feel like I'm looking at something, but it'll get better as we go along. Your girl is learning how to do the YouTube thing. I have dropped a couple of videos. Um, Usually, I'm doing my podcast over on Spotify. I usually do my walk and talks. I'm usually driving and talking. I've been doing this thing since 2021. There are probably like 138 episodes over and counting over on Spotify. So check out those episodes as well. I am your girl, Rachel Real, a thriver from being in a 5 year narcissistic relationship. I didn't know what I was dealing with. I had to do my work, and I'm here to help you do the same. I've joined the community of other people raising awareness about narcissistic abuse, what it looks like, and helping you to get through to your healing, helping you to become a thriver as well and a warrior as well. I call any of my subscribers or my listeners warriors. We're going to speak it into existence. Even those of you who might not be at that level yet, you speak it. I believe it can happen, period. So forgive me for all of the technicalities before I started this video. I am a work in progress over here on these YouTube streets, but I, in 2023, I'm committed to not even worrying about that, not worrying about, if the lighting is right, if this is right. It's all about the message. As long as you can hear me, we can work on the quality and the sound and lighting and all of those types of things later on. I just want to let people know that, you know, there is help out here. There are people who have gone through what you've gone through, and I want people to know, any of my subscribers, please subscribe to my channel. Anybody who's listening or whatever, who's going through narcissistic abuse, I want you to know that, there's healing on the other side, that you don't have to suffer in silence. Many of you don't know me from Adam, so feel free to drop a comment. I want to create a safe space over here where you can drop your questions and get answers to them, even if you want to do it anonymously or if you want to come on, if you want to tell your story. That's what it's all about. We want to hear from you. I know I'm not the only one who's a thriver, who's a warrior, who wants to tell her story or who's been telling her story like I've done. I've done like crazy research about narcissistic behavior and the pattern and all of that. And I'm here to share what I did. How did I make it through dealing with a narcissistic alcoholic and being just pretty much, I feel like, the behavior was glorified, and I was just persuaded to just stay in my marriage, despite the fact that it was toxic, despite the fact that, there was more harm than good. And I was just forced, and I believe that God had me to go through that to help others to get through it as well. I have no ill feelings towards the person that I was involved with. I took full accountability, not to beat myself up, but took full accountability for any part that I played in it, for even allowing myself. You got to forgive yourself for being in that situation in the first place. Like, how did I get there? I had a lot of questions for me. I no longer had questions for the narc. And again, if you listen to any of my other episodes, I'm not going to like make this particular video long and drawn out, but I have a lot of episodes on Spotify, and I'm going to start doing more visuals over here on YouTube. Um, just kind of an extension of my podcast, which is called You Ain't Crazy, A Narcissist Has Two Faces. Just like the title of this video, where it talks, I want to get into narcissistic gaslighting from a narcissist. What does that look like? And what are some of the things that I did to heal? What did I do? And I'm going to take you on that journey, like things that I did to help me with my healing. Everybody's different, but I know there are enough people out there who probably have my same path, can take my same path. Who knows? Like, it's just like every medication is not for everybody. Some people can heal from certain meds, some people can't. Some people go the natural route, some people go a different route. For me, I went the organic route. I don't I'm not opposed to anybody's way, as long as you're not hurting yourselves and you're not hurting other people. I'm not opposed to that. And again, bear with me with this whole lighting situation. I'm trying to like make it brighter or lighter or what have you, and I'm looking at the screen here to see exactly what's going to work. So just bear with me as I do this. um Working with this lighting situation. So anyway, yeah, I want to get through that because, like I said, I had to, after, going to church and praying together, the person that I was dealing with, or the man I was married to, who I thought I knew, but he showed up as a representative, and I'm not here to bash anybody because, again, I can't go into a lot of details in this particular, just one video. I talk a lot in my episodes over on Spotify. Like I said, I'll be talking more over here and hopes that my story resonates with somebody, or any of the stuff that I'm going to like raise awareness about or recap different subjects that I've heard on other platforms and things like that, things that I've read. I'm going to talk about it. Anything that I think other people can find resourceful, who might be going through, their healing, or who might be, you're still in the situation. You don't know how to get out. You don't know how to co parent with them. You don't know how, you got narcissism in the workplace. There are several other content creators out here that really helped me, and I'm going to give them a shout out. Um, there are things that I would read on, just on my phone, looking at certain topics and information. I had to do that in order to really, really heal, because it got to a point where I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't trust pretty much anybody in my circle because I felt like I was so misunderstood. Because when I originally started dating the narcissist and then later married the narcissist, and it all happened so fast, they move very fast. And this person just seemed like everything, where other people, aside from the getting drunk occasionally, it wasn't persistent until really like during the pandemic, when it really came to the forefront that this person may have an issue, a drinking issue. So, again, with narcissism, you got to look at the pattern. You got to look at, first and foremost, how are you feeling? If it doesn't feel right, 9 times out of 10, it's probably not right. And that's why I'm here to tell you, if you experience any of the stuff you're about to hear me talk about, I'm not saying that you're with a narcissist or you're dealing with one in the workplace, or, a parent, a child, a sibling, or a friend. Could be that, if the shoe fits, wear it. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, guess what? It's a duck. So the way that I looked at it, I began to keep it simple and really look at the pattern and what I was dealing with. And just to put the disclaimer out there, like I said, I don't know if I introduced myself or not, but I am Rachel Real. I am a thriver from being in a 5-year narcissistic relationship, narcissistic alcoholic relationship. It was very confusing, didn't know what I was dealing with, had to put the work in, thought I was losing my mind, and all along, that was not the case, which is why my podcast is called You Ain't Crazy. A narcissist has two faces. They have that good face, they have that evil face, that mask. That mask will slip. So that good face is just a mask, unfortunately. You're basically, or you fell in love with yourself, basically. It's not what you thought it was or what you think it is. Not if the person is really a narcissist, or has, whether they have narcissistic personality disorder, whether they have the personality type. I don't know what it is, but if you don't get a grip, you can lose your damn mind, period. That's how I looked at it. So, um, like I said, or don't know if I said, I'm not a therapist, counselor, coach. I am a coach. I'm not a therapist, counselor, psychiatrist, psychologist, or anything of the like. I'm a thriver, a warrior. I am also a coach, focusing more on um, kids, helping them, cope, and also helping parents to, kind of answer their any questions they may have regarding parenting, things like that. So I keep it very simple. There's no cookie cut way. I believe that everybody has their own situation. So when you come across somebody and they feel like, oh, it worked with this person, so it's going to work with that, and it's going to work with that person, I just don't believe that. You got to go with what works for you. So on my platform, on my channel and my podcast, Spotify, the one I do where I'm walking and talking, I might be driving and talking, I might be doing makeup and talking. Um, Now I'm going to be over on YouTube, kind of doing, both, still doing my podcast there. And I was trying to do the dual thing at the same time, but don't get me started. That was just too much. So, you'll see me around basically. But yeah, my channel here is You Ain't Crazy Podcast with Rachel Real, and keeping it real over here. There's nothing that you're going through that somebody else has not made it through. We all have a story. There's healing out there, there's support out there. You don't have to suffer in silence. Drop your questions here. Um, I'll get you answers, with whatever you're dealing with. I might not have the answer, but there are so many people out there who are very resourceful. Some are at no cost at all. Some, it's just a matter of you doing the work. Are you going to commit to listening to things that can encourage you and that can motivate you and inspire you and things like that? That's what this channel is about. Are you willing to start listening to that type of stuff? Are you willing to stop listening to things or watching things that could possibly trigger you? You might have to stay away from that until you get to, a better place, or you're more mature in your healing, or you're healed, whatever that looks like for you. But there's work that you got to do in order to get through. So I'm going to share, like I said, some of the stuff that I had to do and that worked for me during my journey. And you might can try it too, because again, I didn't know how I was going to get to the other side. I'm a very strong believer in Christ. That's my faith, with whoever you believe in. No judgment here. If it works for you, by all means, it works for you. But yeah, for me, I had to really lean on my faith, which I did, and I stood strong in that, and I put the work in, because faith without works is dead, So I had to put the work in, and I come up with these different topics, from, again, whether it's just God giving them to me, whether it's something I'm reading. I blog on some other apps, different platforms. One is called Quora, Quora. That's an application that's like Q&A. You ask questions, you get answers from different experts or people who's gone through some of the stuff you're going through. Like I said, you don't have to suffer in silence. Somebody has made it through what you're going through. So there are answers out there. You just got to open your mouth because a closed mouth does not get fed, right? Um, there's also another app called Wisdom. And these are just resources out there where you will have people talking about this stuff. And for me, when I was going through, my healing process and the whole grieving after the marriage, and um, it didn't take a long time because I was so steadfast on knowing that I'm going to make it through this, whatever that was. Number one, the person didn't exist anyway. So it was a matter of getting over something that never existed in the first place, if that makes sense. Getting over someone that never really existed. So that kind of made it easy for me. I don't know about you, but the fact that the person never existed, I think sometimes we want to believe that the relationship um, is real. But when you're dealing with a narcissist, it's not, it's all fake. Everything is fake. Watch the pattern. You don't have to guess. You don't have to guess at it. We might want to be or stay in denial a lot of the times, but they will show you who they are for real. They literally will show you who they are. Very often, we are in denial. We have that in cognizance dissonance where we're just saying, well, they really weren't mad. They were just had a lot on their mind. Or they didn't mean it. I said something that upset them. Or, oh, they had a tough childhood. I mean, they've gone through so much. That's why they're doing that. Like you just come up with every excuse in the book for bad behavior instead of looking at it. And I've been there, so I'm not beating you up. But instead of looking at it like, you know what? How many of us have not gone through something? How many of us have not had some type of trauma in our lives? So does that mean let me go and hurt the next person? And when people say, oh, hurt people, sick people hurt people, healed people want to help people. Because that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, is because, and my lips are dry, I don't want other people to hurt. I don't want other people to go through what I went through. So for me to sit here and be like, oh, let other people hurt because I hurt, let them go through, or let me go out here and do what the narcissist did to me. No, quite the opposite. You know what I mean? So it's like, and let me take the time to learn what in the heck was that I went through, so I don't make that mistake again. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like just being honest with yourself and stop making excuses for bad behavior. Stop trying to, like play in the dirt with a narcissist. It's not worth it. It's just not worth your time. Take that time. I'm a big advocate for kids. I love my babies. You know, put that attention onto them, because if you don't, you're going to have two choices. They're either going to turn out to be a narcissist, or they're going to feel like it's okay for them to be somebody's doormat, an enabler, a codependent. You'll be raising a codependent, because if you look at it like this, when you're raising children, you're literally raising adults. You're teaching that child how to become an adult, but you're starting while they're the little people. So you got to take your role as a parent very serious. And dealing with somebody who has a personality disorder, that whether it's diagnosed or not, if you're acting like you had one, we're going to go with that. Anybody got time to sit around and wait for you to get diagnosed? Really? We're not doing that. No, you don't go get, because the likelihood of them going to get help goes against who they are. So who has time for that? Don't have time for that, especially when you're still raising children. Children should not have to deal with going to sleep at night. You got to hear mom and dad arguing. Waking up in the morning, you got to hear them arguing. Or you got to see mama crying or daddy crying, or everybody just constantly going through. That is too much. And all of this mental health crisis epidemic crap that's going on right now, You got to take control over your own sanity, period. Period. And we're going to get into this, I'm not going to be long, but get into the whole narcissistic gaslighting. Because, yeah, okay, I'm talking about, here goes this delay again. I think it's YouTube, but I'm going to keep talking. I hate when it does this, where it's like this delay from me talking. And I don't know, like my words are just not wording or in alignment with what I'm saying. So let's see if it catches up. But maybe it's the sound. I don't know if it's the sound on YouTube. I don't know if it's my laptop, but I'm gonna try to get through this and hopefully it adds up because it's like a delay and I don't know why. Why is it a delay? Like when I talk, it's coming after the fact. So, all right, so let's get into it very briefly for this particular episode with a narcissist gaslighting, and exactly what I did to make it through. Um, and this is part of what I did. You know, I had to learn certain terms, guys. Knowledge is power. That's how I learned. I had to gain knowledge, as much knowledge as I possibly could get because you need to understand what you're dealing with. I don't know how anybody can try to heal and you don't know what the crap you're dealing with. You got to understand that demonic spirit that you're dealing with so that you can get a grip and within yourself so that you can raise your children if you're still raising children. Mine are grown, but if you're still raising children and you got to be there for them, you ain't got time to be worrying about that narc. So, one of the things that I did, one of the many things that I did for myself, not waiting to get an appointment with the therapist, not even waiting to find the right one because they're not all created equal. You know, you got to worry about that. Which one is the right one? After you spend money, then you find out, oh, that's not the right one. And even if you don't have to spend money, you still got to spend time for an appointment, you know, whatever the case may be. And meanwhile, you got to heal. You got to figure out what's going on. And there are a lot of resources out there. Shout out to Dr. Romani. She was one of the online, just to give you guys some resourceful tips. She was one of the ones that I listened to a lot of her content. I am not lying, you know, as the millennials say, I won't hold you. I won't hold you, whatever that means, but I ain't lying, I ain't holding you, whatever slang you want to use. But she was definitely one of the ones when I tell you I listen to her content. Check it out, guys. You're trying to heal from narcissistic abuse. You're trying to figure out should you stay, should you go. We're going to get into that book too because I want to start a little book club and we're going to go through should I stay or should I go. So I need my subscribers to subscribe. Um, Let me know what some of the issues that you're dealing with, some of the questions you might have, so we can cover that. You know, I watch a lot of different channels and I enjoy the entertainment, the laughing, the dragging, and all of that um, too. And we'll get into some of that because some of the behavior that's on some of the reality shows that I'm sure a lot of you who might see my channel, you can relate to some of those situations because they're real, you know. Marceau and Martel. Don't get me started on them. That's a whole nother topic. But what I want to do is definitely recap on, just like they recap on shows and stuff. I recap on certain topics that I hear from like a Dr. Romani or another one. She's good. The T on MPD. Check her channel out. Shout out to her. She's pretty good. I used to listen to her. I still listen to Dr. Romani a lot. You got mental illness. He's pretty good. He's a diagnosed narcissist who's still in therapy. And most people are not going to therapy as often as he does and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot. But you want to start healing? Listen to some of these content creators who resonates with you. There's so many of them. I know you can find one who resonates with you. So start there so you can get through your healing. You know, if you feel like it's okay for someone to tear you down, disrespect you, yell at you, break you down, have you crying in front of your children, being disloyal and cheating on you, you know, because at the end of the day, if you don't want to be in your marriage, you don't want whatever the case may be, you don't want to be in a relationship, keep lying. Why? Just say you don't want to be in it and start working towards an exit. Start working towards just dissolving the relationship, but keep it, if you got children, back to children, because y'all know, like I said, well, you don't know, but I advocate for the kids. As you learn me, you'll know it's all about them babies because they're our future. Stop the generational curse where all of this yelling and arguing and disrespecting the other person who you made a child with, and all of a sudden you really learn how they are. Now it's time to tear them down. Don't do it in front of the children. Find a way to figure it out. Love your children more than you hate the situation. We'll talk about that. You don't understand how? Put it in a comment. Send me an email, DM me, whatever the case may be. We can have a conversation on that, because this here, it's definitely, I want it to be just a safe haven place for people to come, vent, open up, drop your comments. You can do it anonymously, whatever you feel like you want to do. Let's just get you through to your healing, get to the other side, and be that true warrior that you can be. If I did it, you can too. So back to, like I was saying, knowledge is power. The way that I got through, because I was not this way 2 years ago, when you got somebody who was trying to tear every relationship you had, that you welcomed them in, you invited that narcissist into your space, you introduced them to your closest friends, your family members. I waited until my youngest was at least 18 before I decided to enter into another relationship, because his dad and I divorced after 17 years, and we co-parent well. So before I welcomed someone else in, I wanted to make sure he was good. And I thought I knew what I was doing. So I'm like, if you bamboozled me, anybody can get fooled. So once I went through all of that, long and short, I had to do my research, get educated about narcissistic personality disorder, the traits, all of that craziness. Understand that there are people out there who really have these multiple faces. And they just try to study you, learn everything about you so they can turn around and use it against you. And try to, like I said, break down every relationship. Anything that spirit thought that they could do to me to try to break me down. Let me attack your relationship with your son. Let me attack your relationship with your daughter in law. Let me attack your relationship with your best friends, all of them. Like, it was crazy that he had me looking crazy, like I was the bad one. And that never was the case in my life. So I knew, take a step back, figure out what in the crap is this. And as I began to do my research, everything that I looked at kept pointing back at a narcissist. That's how I learned. I didn't know about this stuff long time. I mean, years ago. I thought it was like just a conceited person. I never knew this thing was an actual personality. Get out of here. And I know I'm not by myself. So I was like, you know what? You ain't crazy. You ain't crazy. They want to make you think that you are. So we're going to go, enough of that long intro, guys. Um, let's just go through this. Those are just some of the ways, like I said, I healed. And one of the things that I would do is look on my phone in my spare time, guys. I'm talking using a bathroom, TMI, but using a bathroom. I'll pull out that phone. Forget being on Instagram and social media. You wanna pull up your phone? Forget that, looking at what they're doing. No, every time you think about looking at what they're doing, if you're going through that whole ruminating phase where you keep thinking about them and y'all broke up, or you feel like they're cheating and you're trying to figure out to catch them and all of that kind of stuff, unless you're trying to dissolve a marriage. But don't be trying to figure out cheating and you're going to stay with them. Really, again, I can't tell you what to do. It's just my opinion. However, try this instead of doing that. That's my point. Instead of doing things like that, start empowering yourself with knowledge. Period. So many people put so much time in to the point where you're drained just by trying to figure that person out, instead of looking at yourself to find out what's going on with you, that you keep second guessing yourself, you know? So, like I said, one of the few things I would do is go on my phone. And like I said, I wasn't on Instagram. Can't tell you anything that was going on with that. Can't tell you what was going on with any movies. I was doing my research on what I was dealing with so that I would know, how do I deal with this? How can I understand what my next move should be when I feel like it's nobody I can trust and I've been betrayed by so many different people? And how do I regain the trust from people I wronged because of the narcissist? How do I build that back up? And it got to a point where I just had to get silent, back up, focus on myself, hit the reset, pivot, and keep it moving. Pivot, hit the reset, whatever order you want to look at that in, and learn as much as I could about this thing. What am I dealing with? What is this spirit? And I began to pray. So here's one of the things where this particular information I'm about to give you, it's from Choosing Therapy. That's the app, choosingtherapy.com. And we're going to talk about narcissist gaslighting, what it is, signs, and how to cope. These are just some tips, and that's what I'm going to do on this channel, is give you real life tips, keeping it simple. I'm no expert. I'm no, like I said, therapist, counselor, none of them things, none of that. Life coach, I am certified life coach. However, I'm not here to try to coach you along. I'm here to give you information to add to whatever it is you're doing to help you on your healing journey, because that's my goal. And I'm just a resource, a channel of resourceful information, a channel where we're going to talk about certain topics and answer some questions people might have a panel where, if you need me to bring on some experts, I can do that, but I need to know what it is you want to talk about. What are some of your questions? You can do it anonymously. You can come on. We're going to laugh, because you got to laugh from crying, and you got to laugh. Laughing is a part of healing, just like crying is a part of healing. Get that laughter back, because you can, you know? So choosingtherapy.com is it. And this is narcissist gaslighting and what it is. So hear this. Narcissistic gaslighting, it is a form of emotional abuse. So narcissistic gaslighting, period. It's abusive, but we're talking narcissistic because usually they go a little deeper. But you'll have a doctor can gaslight you, your employer, your boss, your friend, your parent, your sibling. Anybody can really gaslight you. I was on the phone today talking to someone who kept telling me that I didn't do something that I knew I did. And I'm like, why are you saying this? It's almost like probably an experience you may have had at MBA, or if you're talking to someone over on the phone and they're telling you, oh, you got to do A, B, C, and D. And you're like, I already did that. Well, take another number because of this. And you're like, are you kidding me? I got to go through this all over again. Like, it just gets in your head. So it's a form of emotional abuse. Narcissistic gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse that involves intentionally manipulating or distorting the truth to instill self-doubt in someone. Period. It causes you to question your reality, to doubt your reality. Those of you who might not understand what it is when they're gaslighting you, telling you something did not happen when you know it clearly did. And they continue to do that no matter what you say. You might say something hurt you that they did. No, it didn't. Put your big girl pants on. That didn't happen. You could be like, babe, that really hurt me when you made that statement, or when you did that in front of so and so. Like, if we have a problem, can you just let it be between us? What are you talking about? Or what you talking about? It didn't happen that way. That's gaslighting. Yes, it did. And if they do that continuously, that's emotional abuse, because after a while, if you stick around, you're going to start doubting yourself. You're going to feel like, oh, I shouldn't talk about that because it's not that serious. You'll start having that. It's not that serious. It's not that serious. Or, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You'll find yourself keep saying, I'm sorry, because they're trying to shift blame. They're never going to take accountability. It's always going to be your fault with gaslighting and shifting blame. You say something, they're going to say, well, you did it too. What about you? What about when you did? It'll be something you had nothing to do with. What about you? You did it too. So what about when you did this? And what about when you did that? Like, Are you kidding me, yo? Can we get past this? Like, you never can say anything to a narcissist regarding holding them accountable. Period. You can sit and waste your time. Don't take my word for it. If you haven't gotten to that point yet, maybe you're not with a narcissist. I'm telling anyone who's dealing with a narcissist or someone who has that personality disorder, because a lot of the times, and you can't tell them that they're a narc. A lot of the times, they'll come up with crap that they'll say to you when it should be the very thing you should be saying to them. That's the irony. That's the twist. Because you'll sit there and be like, what the hell? I should be saying this to you. But they'll twist it around. If you call them a narcissist, they're going to tell you you're one. They're going to start making you feel like you're the one who's losing your mind. So let's get back to this. So, gaslighting is a form of narcissistic abuse that involves tactics that causes a person to question their sanity and doubt their perception of reality. The end goal of gaslighting is for the narcissist to gain control over a person's thoughts, feelings, and actions. You hear that? That's so true. That's why I'm saying when I was going through my healing, thank you, Jesus, I'm healed. I had to research the behavior, like what makes a person like never take accountability? What makes a person start an argument for no reason? What makes a person just ignore you and give you the silent treatment? What makes a person twist your narrative around continuously, saying you meant something that you didn't mean? Like, I don't know about y'all. I didn't have the patience for that stuff. I mean, I gave it a 5-year run because it wasn't all bad, and you catch more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. He caught me with the honey because he was nice at first. And then it started to shift, and I noticed this pattern because you got to look at the pattern. Look at the pattern. You'll find out every time. So that's so now you know what gaslighting is. It's a just a form of not just, but it's a form of psychological and abuse and emotional abuse, that leaves you questioning your truth, your reality. In my case, the damn story was getting twisted every time. I sounded like a broken record because I kept saying, I didn't say that. That's not what I meant. Yes, you did. You said so. That's not what I meant. I didn't mean that. The next thing you know, you're dealing with them treating you like they think you meant, knowing you didn't, because they love chaos. They gotta have something going on to just create drama all the time. It never fails. And I don't know about you, I like peace. I love peace. I will protect it at all costs. But because of my faith that he took advantage of, but I got it back, took my power back. That's where the education comes in, because once you start getting educated, you're going to be like, I'm going to leave this fool, this nutcase alone, because you're going to learn all the tips that you need to know with how to do that. Love yourself. And when you come out of that trance that spell they had you under because they love bombed you, because that's how it starts. They idolize you first, like, oh my gosh, you're so good. Oh, yeah, I've been looking for you all my life. I never loved anybody like I loved you. You're everything. It was to the point where it didn't even seem real. Go to the bathroom. I love you. Go to the car from the house. I love you. I love you. I love you. Like you're believing all of this stuff, even though after a while it's like, well, damn, I just went to the bathroom, or I just went into the kitchen. Why are you still telling me you love me? But at first I thought it was cute, but then it was excessive. And then let me forget to say it back. Like if I didn't hear him or something, come back, he got an attitude. What's wrong with you? Why you shift? You ain't hear me say I love you? No, I know you did. No, I didn't. Then that becomes an argument. He's gaslighting me like, yo, I didn't hear you. So you don't have to be mad for the next 3 days and not talk to me. It would be petty shit like that. Petty stuff over and over and over again. So when I tell you, I was researching like a mug, like what? What and what? It was crazy. So, yes, if you're going through that, thank God I am not. Your girl is here to help y'all get through it because I know it's real. It will drive you crazy. But when you get to that other side, I'm telling you, you can't even imagine someone saying something so crazy or trying to manipulate or buy. Take that foolishness somewhere else. We ain't doing that. And you'll be just as calm. You won't care what they're doing, what they're not doing, any of that. I promise you, if you put the work in. So now you know it's manipulation, period. So let's get into some of the examples that this website is given. I'm not going to go deep into it, but check it out. Like I said, it's a lot of resources out there, and that's what I did. Not to take away from therapists and stuff like that. I needed stuff fast. I didn't have time to keep waiting for an appointment, or you get an hour time or 45 minutes, then it's over, but you still got questions. I'm sorry. I needed continual education. I needed to be able to just read it whenever I felt like it, listen to it whenever I felt like it. And instead of listening to that nonsense from him, who I was living with at the time, and we were living together, I was married at the time, I would put my headphones on, like listening to inspirational music, listening to uh, um, different content creators over and over again. And any message preaching or something like that I needed to hear. I had to unlearn what I learned all of those years with the whole codependent and enabling and just being in just overly empathetic. I had to really come to grips like, you know what? It's okay to love from afar. It's okay to love me more than this situation, than that I'm putting time into trying to fix and tolerate somebody else. If I have to tolerate you, I'm not the person for you. I don't know about you, but I'm not the person to tolerate someone else. No, we ain't doing that. So anyway, here are 20 examples of gaslighting that she gives um in her little this blog here. I'm sorry, this blog here. 20 narcissists, and the reason why um I'm pointing these out to you. I'm sharing this with you because, like I said, this was some of the stuff that helped me. And it was so spot on, which is why I was like, thank you for the validation, because that's what we're doing here. We're over here trying to ungaslight people, ungaslight you, give you validation so that you know you ain't crazy. You ain't crazy. So, number one, citing past mistakes you've made, guys. Citing past mistakes you made. I told you. They will talk about something you did 10 years ago. Well, what about what you did? Well, when you did this, remember? No, I don't remember. And even if we did it, we already addressed it long time ago. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. Or it'll be something they never said anything about. You didn't say that. You didn't. Yes, I did. Then that becomes an argument. You get where I'm going with that? So citing past mistakes you've made, that's a sign of gaslighting. That's an example. Pulling the you're crazy card. Pulling the you're crazy card, accusing someone of being crazy or emotionally or mentally unstable is a common tactic narcissists use. And again, y'all can read this for yourselves, but that's what I'm saying. They will pull the crazy card. Part of why my podcast with 130 something episodes on Spotify, why it's called You Ain't Crazy, because they want to make you think that you're the one who's losing it. So that's why you got to be like, you know what? Let me shut up. You will see when you start shutting up and let them talk, they're not going to have any narrative, because all they do is take your narrative and twist it as their own. You get what I'm saying? So when you stop talking, silence is very powerful. You stop talking, let them come up with their own nonsense. You're going to see they're not going to have anything to talk about, because most of the times when you're hurting, you keep yapping. But as you begin to heal, you're going to talk less because you're absorbing knowledge, and then you'll start acting on what you know, and you're going to move differently. So they'll pull you crazy. Y'all don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. Third, questioning your memory. Another gaslighting example is to call your memory into question and suggest you're mixing up your facts or misremembering something. That never happened. I don't remember that. Knowing full well they know. I don't remember that. What you talking about? What you talking about? That ain't never happened. I don't remember. Hmm. Never. They will take that crap to their grave. Stop trying to figure them out. Stop playing. Outright denial of the facts. Denial is another example of narcissistic gaslighting. It includes a blatant denial of facts. Example, gaslighting narcissists may use phrases like, that never happened, or you're just imagining things. It didn't happen. Or they may outright deny any wrongdoing. That's you. That's all in your mind. That never happened. See what I mean? Another gaslighting. Playing the good guy. Narcissist gaslighters often want to play the good guy in every situation, painting themselves as the hero of every story. One tactic involves pretending that they're the only ones who really love and care about you, while painting out ways others have let you down and betrayed you when they're the main ones who betrayed you. They did. So, yes, that's why I told y'all, I could read stuff and it'll be spot on. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. And again, not to take away from therapists and stuff like that, guys, but for me, I was reading stuff like this because I felt like this is the preacher preaching to me, like, yes, thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Because you try to have this conversation with friends or relatives who you used to sing the narc's praises to or defend the narcissist in your life. And all of a sudden, you want to paint them as the bad guy. The narcissist knew what they were doing when you were doing that because they showed up as that representative with the mask on. And then now the mask has slipped at home and others don't know them yet. And they're questioning you. The narcissists want to play the good guy. Playing the good guy means they're the ones buying the drinks. They're the ones making everybody laugh. They're the ones giving the gifts or, oh, I did this and oh, I sent that and whatever the case may be. So when they're ready to devalue you and discard you and run a smearing campaign to make you look like the bad guy so that they can look like the good guy. Okay. Shifting blame to avoid accountability. Y'all already know what that is. They never take no accountability. I ain't do it. That was you. Well, you did it too. I ain't do that was all your fault. It's your fault I cheated. Really? Don't buy it. It's your fault that they cheated. I cheated because you ain't fixed in. I cheated because you ain't never give me none. I cheated because you didn't give me when I wanted. I cheated because I can't talk to you. You already know where that's going, right? Um, Projecting their faults onto you. We already know about that. Projecting their faults onto you because they're empty. They want you to be empty. Projecting personal faults is a classic form of gaslighting designed to prevent people from being able to call them out for their shortcomings. An example of projection is accusing you of being narcissistic or self-centered or saying you care too much about what others think of you. This kind of projection is a common way that narcissists respond to an ego threat. Their ego feels threatened, so they're going to project their faults onto you. It is your fault. You're not this. You're self-centered. You think you're all that. You're too good for me. Like all of that nonsense. You're too good for me and you're this and you're that. You know, Pretending to have allies. That's another one. Pretending to have allies. Narcissists often form alliances with others to attack and discredit a person or just pretend that others agree with them, even when they don't. So and so said you did so and so. That's why, again, you can listen to some of my other episodes. It's on Spotify. Like I said, I'm just starting to build my YouTube over here. But guys, listen, when they start pretending that they have allies, that goes back to when I cut that narc out, went no contact. I ain't trying to keep talking to people who's still in communication with you. And no offense to them, no shame to them, but you can say hello to somebody you mutually know, and that person can be like, if they're still in communication with them, you can just say, "Oh, I saw Rachel and she said hello." Next thing you know, they're running their mouths. Oh, so and so said they saw, she wasn't even looking like that. And she didn't even have that. That's how it twists, and I'm just giving you a little synopsis of it. Using indignant outrage. Indignant outrage. Narcissistic rage or indignant anger is triggered when a narcissist's ego is threatened or challenged. This defensive form of anger aims to shut anyone who's challenging the narcissist. They want to portray themselves as the victim. That's that narcissistic injury. Look it up. Comparing you to others. That's another one. This one don't do that. Another tactic narcissistic gaslighters use is to compare you to other people in ways that make you feel inadequate. This tactic is designed to undermine your confidence and self-esteem while pitting you against others. Example, including gaslighting phrases, you should ask so and so for help since they're better, they're a lot better than you. I wish you were more like so and so. Really? Well, you need to go be with so and so if you feel that way. How about that? You know what I mean? Like, don't compare me to your ex. Don't compare me to whoever. I'm not her. You know? Don't, no, no, no. That's disrespectful because if I'm not comparing you to another man, why do that? You know? And we're talking about in a romantic relationship, but that mess can happen even in the workplace where your boss or supervisor can compare, well, so and so didn't do that, or we've always had it this way. They'll gaslight you too. So, this thing is not just in relationships, but you get where I'm coming from. Understand, look it up. Accusing you of being too sensitive. We said that too, put your big girl pants on. Didn't nobody mean it like that. You too sensitive. No, you're just disrespectful. You're disrespectful. And it wasn't necessary for you to say that, period. You're just disrespectful. Or you're a liar, or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, they can accuse you of being too sensitive. 12, using double speak to remain intentionally vague. Double speak is a way of using language to disguise the truth or present something in a more acceptable or political correct manner. Double speak also includes language and words that are intentionally vague or having two meanings. An example would be a boss who announces that some employees are moving on from the company when they were actually fired. Like I told you, gaslighting can be in the workplace. They can say, oh, so and so decided to move on, da da da, when they were clearly fired. Feigning concern for your well being. Another form of gaslighting narcissists use is pretending to care or be concerned about someone as a backhanded way of suggesting they're irrational, crazy, or unstable. Feigning concern is passive aggressive tactic that appears to be kind but is designed to undermine someone's credibility. Examples include asking repeatedly if you're feeling okay, if you've been sleeping enough. Really? Using your own words against you. Like I told you, they'll study you, they figure out your triggers, and they use it against you to just get up under your skin. It's abusive, period. It's abusive. Weaponizing things that you've said in the past and try to use that stuff against you. So they'll do that. Weaponizing things you've said in the past is a way to suggest you're contradicting yourself or being hypocritical. Gaslighting phrases like you always say, I thought you said, or you were the one who suggested it, back to the shift and blame. You see how this stuff is abusive, how gaslighting is just abusive. Inverting the truth is number 15. Inverting or reversing the truth is another form of gaslighting. Inversion states the opposite of the truth, like accusing someone else of saying or doing the things they said or did. They may also refer to abusive or controlling behavior as acts of love. Because it's so blatant, inverting the truth can make people doubt and question themselves more than subtler forms of gaslighting. 16, trivializing what matters to you. Narcissists often trivialize things that are really important or significant to someone else. For example, they may undermine a person's passion or career by referring to it as a hobby. Mine used to tell me that, like when I sold life insurance, that was very lucrative and a good career. It's like, you're not making no money from that. Oh, that's just a hobby. It can be somebody who's like in the music industry, and somebody might say, oh, that's just a hobby, that's not anything serious, just undermining things that's meaningful to you. It doesn't matter what anybody else says or whatever the case may be. Why would you try to hurt me? Back to, again, a narcissist, they don't care about you because they don't care about themselves. They don't love themselves. They don't know how to love. They feel empty. They want you to feel empty. And they are self sabotagers, if that's a word. They self sabotage anything. So, yeah, that's how I look at them. Saying your opinions don't count. Invalidation. They will not validate you, they will always invalidate you. Invalidation is a form of gaslighting that directly discredits what someone else thinks or feels, saying that your opinion doesn't count because you don't know enough about a subject is a form of gaslighting designed to silence your opinions. Narcissists are most likely to use this tactic when your opinion is different from theirs, which they see it as a direct threat, insult, or a challenge. So they're going to tell you your opinion does not count or show you that it doesn't count. Using circumstantial evidence. Narcissists often use circumstantial evidence to support their claims or refute someone else's. This kind of evidence can't really be proven because it isn't objective. It relies on weak correlations or someone's opinion. For example, they might accuse you of having bad intentions without having proof or cite things that happened a long time ago to suggest the pattern of behavior. Back to again, someone saying that you meant something when you didn't and constantly changing your narrative. If I didn't say that, don't tell me that I meant it a certain way. Don't tell me that I said it. Oh, you said it like this. So I know. And just lying, 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 lying. That's what they do. Playing devil's advocate. Another narcissist, that's number 19. Another narcissistic gaslighting example is playing the devil's advocate to challenge your opinions, actions, or beliefs. This tactic allows a narcissist to challenge you indirectly and claim they're just playing devil's advocate if you get upset. This narcissistic gaslighting phrase undermines your views without making them accountable for the things that they say or tactics they use during the debate. Again, that's someone tearing you down and just try to act like, oh, I was just playing, or let's say devil's advocate, just um, being an ops. Every time you say something, they have to object or they have to say the opposite or something like that, or always be opposed to whatever it is you're saying for no reason at all, just doing it. Well, what about let's play devil's advocate. I don't want to play devil's advocate. How about I just want to be in my own zone and feel what I want to feel for this moment? Why do you always have to do that? When you find yourself asking that kind of question, you might have a narcissist on your hand. You might be being gaslit. Okay. And I ain't trying to be grammatically correct over here. That's not what I do. You get me? Stonewalling. And this is number 20, stonewalling to end a conversation that they can't win. And stonewalling is ignoring you. When a narcissist and when a narcissist is losing in a conversation, they often stonewall and shut down, refusing to continue the conversation. This is a frustrating pattern that keeps the other person from ever being able to be right, to make a point, or resolve a misunderstanding. Examples of stonewalling are declaring, this conversation is over, or saying, I won't discuss this with you anymore. You see what I mean? They'll just shut you down. They shut you down. They're very dismissive. Stonewalling is dismissive when they just shut down, won't talk to you, won't give you an explanation. It's all manipulation. And when you understand these terms, that's just 20 of them, guys. When you understand them, pay attention to your emotions. Pay attention to how that narcissist is making you feel. Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling frustrated? Are you feeling ashamed? So, these are some of the tips that you can determine whether or not you're being gaslit. So, like I said, number one, pay attention to your emotions, how it's making you feel, how the narcissist is making you feel angry, frustrated, ashamed, or unsure. Number two, take your emotions and perceptions seriously. Gaslighting works because a narcissist makes you doubt yourself, your sense of reality, your rights, and even your own feelings. And number three, if you're noticing this occurring with somebody, it is a red flag for gaslighting. It's easy to overlook or justify the experience, especially when we feel vulnerable in a relationship, such as with a new romantic interest, a boss, a parent, a neighbor, or friend, really any relationship. So again, this was something that shout out to Choosing Therapy, and it was written by Haley Schofer. HAILEYSHAFIR. She's a I believe a counselor. Um yeah, so check it out. That's like I said, I'll be covering different blogs and vlogs and different commentary recaps on some of the ones that I find to have been resourceful for me when I was going through. These are some of the things that I used to read, and it resonated with me, and I hope that it does the same for you. I took them very serious because it was something that I was not hearing from other people. No one was breaking it down for me. And I needed to hear the facts so that I could move past what I was dealing with. Because again, narcs can come as wolves in sheep's clothing. And sometimes it's very hard to identify if you're not living with them, if you're not in a relationship with them. Because I know I used to feel like the man I was married to was more respect. This was when the devaluing started. Just the whole devaluing process that's kind of stayed stuck because I'm like, okay, we went from the love bombing to the devaluing to the point where I'm like, do you really even like me? And it would go like all of these inconsistencies. We would break up, get back together, even as married, break up, get back together. I put him out, or I would leave, or, I married him 2 times because I felt so guilty. I got that, oh, I would never leave you. Got it. So now you want me to feel guilty because I'm the one who's filing for the divorce. And I bought into it the first time because of my faith. I felt like, okay, here's another divorce. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. We went to church. They're praying for us. We're going to couples ministry and all of this kind of stuff, and feeling like all the weight was on me because he showed like he was an expert at this thing. He knew this stuff way better than me. And it was like, I felt like I was the one who was giving up because I didn't know what I was dealing with, but that was all a part of the manipulation. No one knew what I was going through at home, because it's like, oh my gosh, he looks like he loved you so much. Go to a karaoke, he's singing to me, then get in the car, he's drunk, he's cursing me out. We get home, he half speaks, and then, it was just so dysfunctional. Like I could never imagine myself ever dealing with anything like that. So I had to put the work in, and I'm here to help you to do the same. I healed. I wish no ill upon that person. I it's like I never knew him, even though I was married and with him for those years. If someone shows up as someone's representative and you're wearing a mask, do I really know who you are? You know, I'm going to go with the way you're making me feel. And that's what I went with. I didn't need to hear anything from anybody else anymore. How am I feeling? And if you're in a place where you have to question how you're feeling because you're not feeling great, you feel sick to your stomach, you know something is off, something is wrong, especially if you're being disrespected, if you're being gaslit, if you're being just all around emotionally abused, you're being manipulated. And again, it's not just with women, it's with men too. You know that you're not going through anything that somebody else has not made it through. I can't say that enough. And if you have children, it is your responsibility to make sure you're stepping up to the plate to make sure they have a healthy, non toxic environment that they can be raised in so that you're not repeating the abuse cycle all over again, that generational curse all over again, because I believe that it's a demonic spirit. I believe that, these people who have these disorders or this personality trait, it's who you are. And you can't change them. You can have change yourself. Many of us make New Year's resolutions that we can't even stick to, but we'll try to change someone else. So I really encourage you as I close to really focus on yourself, become more self aware, and please drop me a comment um, and subscribe to my channel so you can hear more of these types of stories and be encouraged, inspired, motivated, to get through to your healing because there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Peace and blessings to you. And you got this, Just keep your head up high, be willing to put the work in. People will do to us what we allow them to. Sure, there are extenuating circumstances, that you have no control over. But I believe where there's a will, there's a way. It's just you got to be creative with how you move, because every situation is different. That's why I can't sit here and just tell you what to do. I need to know your situation first and then can direct you. And when you're ready to really put the work in and heal, we got you on the other side. You just got to be ready to put the work in. So, your girl Rachel Rill is out. That is the end of this live. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, excuse the technical difficulties I had. I'm just learning this thing and I'm about to end this thing. Bye. Talk to you guys in the next episode or the next channel. I say episode because it is a podcast that I do. So, there we go. Bye. Oh, by the way, give yourselves a big hug and a high five. Peace.